sola, cada uno en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada una en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada uno en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada uno en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada una en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada uno en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada una en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada uno en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada una en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada uno en su lugar. Corre, morenita sola, cada una en su lugar.
All right, we are 2 o'clock, so I think people are coming in. So we'll just give another minute for them to join. Welcome everyone. All right, let's give another minute, and then we will start. All right, welcome everyone once again. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from. Thanks for joining this Product on Steroids Masterclass. All right, so today I'm actually joining from Prague in Czech Republic. So I just came here for a little bit of workcation with my family, and it's a beautiful city. I was roaming around in the morning, and I found after like 2 days, I found a very good breakfast place today. And finally, I got to eat some eggs Benedict, which I was craving for a couple of days. So on that note, I was thinking today's first question on the masterclass should be, So put it in the chat box. Where are you joining from? And what did you have for breakfast if you already had your breakfast today? So put it in the chat box. Where are you joining from? And what did you have for your breakfast? All right. Cebu, Philippines. Okay. Boston, no breakfast today. Fasting till noon. That's, I believe, your intermittent fasting. 16 hours, I believe. Lul is joining from Warsaw. So James, it'll be great if you can also change the setting for your chat to everyone. I think it by default comes as a host and panelist, but just click that drop down and put it to everyone. Everybody else can do that as well. I think sometimes it's a default setting. So California, too early for breakfast, of course. Nigeria, spaghetti. Oh, wow. That's a nice breakfast, Italian breakfast. But joining from Berlin, fasting till midday. Oh, intermittent fasting is getting huge. Add Hungarian sausage. Oh, wow, that sounds interesting. Perfect. Avocado for breakfast is Sekar. Great. I also had like an avocado, toast in my breakfast. There were four things for me. So eggs Benedict, avocado toast, and some waffles, which was great. All right, from Bordeaux, no breakfast. People are skipping breakfast these days, huh? A lot. Okay, London, English breakfast. Wow, fried eggs, sausages, hash browns. Amazing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is so great. So let's keep this chat active throughout the session. Also during the masterclass, keep sharing your thoughts on this chat because it's fun. And whenever you agree to something or disagree, just put it there. If you have any light bulb moment where something new came to you, just share it on the chat. Now, I tell this to in every masterclass because it's kind of super important. The more you share in the chat, I've seen the speaker's energy and the encouragement kind of goes really high, and they end up sharing a little bit more information, which is quite helpful for the participants. So keep sharing that in the chat box. Also, like if you have any questions on the way, put it in the chat box, or we also have Q&A section. You can put your question there. So wherever you feel comfortable, and we'll answer all these questions at the end. Awesome. One more suggestion which I want to give you is Gaurav, who is the speaker today, will be sharing a lot of information. So I would highly suggest to keep a notebook or the workbook if you've already printed that, what we sent in the email, and a pen near you. What happens is I have seen that with our best intentions, by the time the masterclass is finished, you've forgotten half the things you have learned. And in my personal experience, whenever I write something, it stays with me for a longer period of time. And a lot of things I'm able to also put into action. Also, I think Gaurav is going to share some writing exercise during the masterclass. So notebook or a workbook which we send and a pen near you would be great. So today I'm really thrilled and happy because I was talking to Gaurav yesterday and he shared what he's going to share today. And with his deep experience in launching many, many different products, what he's going to share is the secrets of building products. And there are two things to it which really resonated with me, and I put it in the introduction, is something that deliver value to the customer, because the product is built to deliver value, and eventually the company that is building it or the product manager, product leader building it, for them crazy return on investment. And these are the two things which really resonated with me on the things he's going to share with us. And I've practically used this with my customers, and I've seen them adding a couple of million extra dollars into from their products just by applying these very practical and actionable strategies. Now, before we start, I just want to give you a brief about Gaurav, who is our speaker. So Gaurav is my brother and a business partner. And for last 15 years, he has been working with the product leaders, product managers across the globe in two different roles. If I could summarize that, it's product strategist and a mentor or product mentor. Now, what does it really mean? These are just, those titles. What I've seen is that he has this special skill to look at a product or a feature, and just by asking a few questions, he can gauge if the product or the feature which we want to launch will be successful or not. At least he's able to pinpoint the things we don't really know, and we're making those guesses or assumptions on the way. And this kind of superpower, or a crazy superpower, I would say he has, really scares our customers when they are basically ask those questions. But I've seen that this ability he has learned and developed through a lot of research and his experience. And I believe it's around 500 interviews with product leaders and product managers, and almost like 250 product launches so far in his career. So all of this, years of experience and hard work has went into creating this masterclass, which you will experience today. Now, this is the time I'll stop talking and let's just begin our learning for today. Over to you, Gaurav.
Okay, thanks, Narjeet. Well, we sat together yesterday, scripted this whole thing. I was supposed to reveal that he's my brother, but he did it. That's fine. And yeah, this script didn't have the, that ability that I got to know today about myself. So thanks for the compliment, Narjeet. I'm in India right now. I hope you guys are able to hear me. And I'm with my amazing team and I'm enjoying it. And I'm so thrilled. Like I was just looking at people joining from different countries. So 10 plus countries, people are here to listen to this. I'm already thrilled. I'm so excited about this. So what I've done today is I have framed my presentation in such a way that, what I promised to you that I'm going to give you 7 actionable strategies. I will give it to you today and I want you to use it. And that's the reason I said it's actionable. Now, I want to use it irrespective of your knowledge, your awareness. And I'm sure that when you implement these strategies, you're going to get desired results faster than ever you have thought of, right? And then I would love to hear back from you. I love, people going, implementing it. And if you're implementing it, if you're not coming back to me, I'll come to you and ask you whether you got the results or not, right? Now, the purpose today is not to give you knowledge, because knowledge is everywhere, right? We're full of, so many things on internet. You go on LinkedIn, you go on YouTube, you got so much of stuff. But the purpose today is, give you knowledge that is implementable so that you're able to get results faster than ever, right? And I'll be so excited that when you implement these strategies, you will be able to launch product on steroids. That's where the name steroids came in, right? And when you do this, great thing is that you will get the results. You will succeed. And when you succeed, you want to go and coach more people around you in your community how to launch product on steroids, right? And I remember a webinar where I was presenting this whole thing back in 2022, when it was, of course, not in this format that I've created now, along with Narjeet and my team. But uh, back then, I was representing in front of 100 plus product leaders from Amazon, Nike, Adidas, Uber. And you can imagine, like, I was frozen what I'm going to talk in front of them, right? They would know everything. But I went ahead, I presented those 7 strategies, and which I'm going to present to you today. In fact, one of the product leaders from Meta, he's a very close friend of mine, Anshul. Unfortunately, he could not make it today. I wanted him to join. He's in US. The time is not great. It's 5 in the morning there. So but he came after the presentation. He told me, you know what, Gaurav, I know all these strategies, and unfortunately, even in Meta, we are not using it. We are not implementing it. Well, I was so thankful to him, reminding me and validating my viewpoint. For a speaker, I think that's the best thing that he can get, that whatever he's teaching is making sense, right? And now he's in touch with me, and in fact, he's implementing this framework for his product. And the strategies that I'm going to share with you. So I'll not talk a lot now. I'll get directly into the presentation because there's a lot to share with you guys. And I am now going to share my screen. Just give me a second. And here you go. All right. Perfect. So can you see my screen? Okay. So once again, welcome to Product on Steroids Masterclass. To unfold 7 tools and strategies that I promised you, by top 3% product leaders at Netflix, Tesla, Amazon, Google, that are hidden from rest 97%. Now, today's masterclass is designed for some special people. And these special people are already in this room, listening to me and learning from me, right? And the intent today for this is that I don't want to give any hacks to, because it's not that hacks are bad, but I want to give you something which helps you get your results faster, right? Now, this is for a special breed of growth hungry product leaders, product owners, product managers, to create products which can deliver impact and value to all the stakeholders they are working with, right? And one thing is very, very important, that these growth hungry product leaders or product owners, product managers believe in taking action, right? Now, in my 10 years of experience working with different leaders in different industries, what I learned is that they struggle with 2 big core problems. The first problem that I get to hear from 9 out of 10 people I speak to is, I'm not valued as a product leader in the company. And my voice is not being heard, so I don't take the most important decisions for my product, right? The second problem they say is that, oh, even I have great skills. I know a lot. I have all the skills that I need, but I'm doubtful if I am doing the right thing in my product. And would the stakeholders that I'm working with, would they listen to me? Now, if you are dealing with these two problems, I'm sure there would be other problems also. But if you are stuck with these two problems, I'm going to guarantee that after this session today, you will not have this problem forever, right? It'll be solved today, forever, diminished from your life. Perfect. So just stay with me. Okay. So now you might be working in any domain, lead doesn't matter. You might be building an internal product, you might be building an external product, or you might be part of new ventures, innovation, or working on existing or new business model, doesn't matter. End of the day, if you're building product for humans, that's it. It'll work for you. Cool. So some people know me, but I will quickly, and some people don't know me. I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Gaurav. I'm a product strategist and co-founder at Lean Apps. I'm also top 5%, one of the top 5% product mentor at Mentoring Club and IPL India. I'm a creator of PDOS framework, through which I've built more than 250 plus products with product leaders in Fortune 500 companies. In fact, I was recognized as a top leader in the digital product space by Enterprise World. I'm a product mentor, investor, in 3 tech startups. Great. So we are trusted by some of the brands that you see in front of me, and I'm sure you also trust some of these brands that we have used in your life. Cool. So how will I run the presentation today? So we are going to cover 4 things here. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, what is the real problem, right? Now, with product leaders that I've worked with, I realize that they are not solving the real problem. They think that is a problem, but that is not the problem. So we'll unfold today what the real problem is. Now, once you have understood the real problem, the problem still remains there, right? So we have to find a permanent solution so that we can eliminate this problem forever, right? And once we got the solution, so the third thing I'm going to cover is the case studies of growth hungry product leaders like you, who worked with me, who attended this session, and then they got the results, and they are doing amazing. They got the amazing results in their career. And it's the time of Diwali in India. It's a season time, and I wanted to give you a surprise as well, right? But this is only for people who want to stay till the end of the session. I'm not going to open the surprise box till the end. So stay tuned with me. Perfect. Now, before I move ahead, I want to give you some promise, right? And this is very, very important, because I am a fan of outcomes, which you will also see when I will present, my content to you, right? Now, I don't care if other product leaders are paid 6-figure salaries or not. What I care is whether you are making money or not, whether you are getting the recognition that you aspire for in the organization, right? So I want to give you some promises that after the session, this is what you're going to get. So once you implement these strategies, you will get recognition, promotion, faster than ever, with insane growth and happiness. How does that sound, right? You'll be chased by top product companies. So whoever has implemented the strategies when they were looking for jobs, right? They never applied for jobs. There were companies coming to them and asking them to join their company, right? You will have full autonomy, freedom, control on your product ideas, no matter what product you're working on, and influencing any stakeholder inside or outside the company. And I mean it. And I'll show you how, right? It'll never be a challenge for you. So with these things in mind, before I go ahead, right, I want to set the intention for today, right? So I would like to know from you, what is your biggest challenge today as a product leader, as a product owner, as a product manager? Now you have the chat in front of you. So this is what we're going to use to interact today. So please use it fully and excel fully. So help me understand what's your biggest challenge before I move ahead. So the chat is on my other screen. I'm looking at it, and I want people to start telling me what the challenge is. Come on. Team alignment. Lack of autonomy with a huge list of stakeholders. Hippos. Okay, awesome. Keep going. I need more people. Come on. Okay, I'll give 30 more seconds before we move ahead. Feeling confident Like long-term product strategy is, oh, now it's going fast. I'm not able to read it. Stakeholder alignment, conflicting goals, being empowered for product choices, difficult suppliers. Okay, lack of autonomy, too many dependencies. Okay, wanna go fast in growth. Okay, sure. Great, great, great. Let's move ahead. So when I talk to people, when I talk to product leaders, I hear a lot of challenges, what you similarly said, that, oh, I don't have the budget. You know, my company work in silos. There's a company culture issue. Stakeholders don't listen to me. And you know what? I have interviewed more than 500 product leaders in last, what, 6 years, interviewed them, talked to them, worked with them. And what I did is I collected 700 problems in my Excel sheet. But I'm of course not going to go through all the 700 problems today. But what I did was, when I looked at the challenges and problems, all these problems I collected in 2 buckets. Simple, right? So the problem could be inside the company, or the problem is outside the company. So if you say, I have limited autonomy for taking decisions about my product, I have no control on my product roadmap. I'm playing a referee in a blame game. Stakeholders don't listen to me. I feel like a project coordinator, or let me exaggerate it. I feel I'm a glorified executive assistant for my team, right? Product development always exceed budget. I don't have enough budget and resources to deliver the product that I promised to my stakeholders. Now, all these problems, tech team doesn't listen to me. I have a huge list. I just coming up to my mind, right? So all these problems that you're seeing on the screen, these problems can be listed as problems inside the company. Now, if you say customers came and saw my product, they loved it, but they never bought it. Oh, there's low conversion of leads to customers. There's low usage of my product or features that I'm building it for my product. I'm not able to retain customers. There's a huge churn in my product. I'm losing sales to competition because of low price. There's so much of pressure from sales and marketing to keep adding more and more features to increase the sales or the revenue. I have limited access to talk to customers, test and validate new ideas. Now, all these problems that you see can be listed as problems outside the company. Well, before I move ahead, I want to ask you, do you agree to these challenges that I have just put in front of you? So can I assume safely before I move ahead that we are all on the same page? Okay. Great. Great. Awesome. Thank you. So let's move ahead. And now what I'm going to tell you will blow your mind, honestly, right? Because all these things that I told you are not the real problems, were never the problem, and will never be the problem for you. They are what? They are just symptoms. Now, here's the point, what I'm trying to say. Now, these are not the real problems you're trying to solve, right? And if you try solving the wrong problem, you will not get the desired results that you're looking for as a product leader or a product owner or as a product manager while you're working with different products. And if you continue solving the wrong problem, now either the problem becomes bigger or you're going to create a new problem. So the question is, what is the real problem? Why don't you come to the point, Gaurav? I'll come there, don't worry. So now, because product leaders, product owners, and product managers focus only on symptoms, which I just showed you, they are not looking at the real problem. 97%, and that's where I came with this number, that 97% leaders get stuck in the middle management and they never grow beyond that. They stall their growth and they are unable to influence their stakeholders. They are perceived as reactive problem solvers rather than proactive problem solvers. And what happens? That hinders their ability to showcase their true leadership potential. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have the leadership potential. It's just that the way you're putting yourself in front of stakeholders, they don't perceive you as a leader, right? Cool. So what we saw was these are not the real problems. So what is the real problem? The real enemy, the root cause, which is causing all these damage, right? So the real problem is, the real enemy is communication mismatch. Now, you can also call it communication breakdown, communication deficit, communication barrier, impediment, communication inefficiency. Well, I can give you hundreds of synonyms, but the point I'm trying to say is very, very simple. It means whatever you're trying to communicate to your stakeholders, whether they are your customers, whether there is your team, whether they are part of your organization, whoever they are not receiving it fully. They are only hearing from their perspective, not from your perspective. Now, this thing might look very simple to you, very easy for you, but I always say what is simple, whatever is easy is also easy to miss. And I'll show you. Just give me a minute, right? So I'll show you some pictures which might set this perspective more clearly. So these people, if you see, right, they are looking at the same thing, but they are standing at different places. Now, the reality, sometimes their reality and your reality might be different, right? Sometimes they look at the same opportunity, but from a different perspective. Now, I get goosebumps when I see this picture, because in this picture, if you see, none of them are wrong, right? They are just different perspectives. And the problem that we do face is we keep fighting based on our perspectives, what I think or what you think, and we end up with what? Zero results and a lot of frustration, anxiety, and stupidity, right? Let me show you an example. So this is Mike. Mike is a product leader at Zeiss. Well, what Zeiss does, Zeiss manufacture microscopes and sell it to universities, hospitals, R&D labs. So they sell through a traditional model of dealers and distributors. So Mike is part of, as I said, is part of the team MedTech division, and he started, he joined as part of the digital transformation initiative. And when he joined the team, so customers who were using this product, the microscopes, these are not simple microscopes, they are very costly microscopes, around I think 50,000 to 100 euros, and might go even bigger than that, right? So they are not happy with the after sales service. In fact, they were also not aware that Zeiss is building different softwares and hardware components which they can cross sell and upsell with the microscopes that the customer bought. And when I'm sorry, so when Mike went and spoke to a couple of customers, right, he did his due diligence. He came with an idea that why not we build a B2B workshop. Sorry, I think there is a, sorry. Yeah. So he came with an idea that I would like to build a B2B e-commerce, to deliver an awesome customer experience. And it will also help the customer to look at the product, online, see from different angles, look at 3D images. And it will also help him to upsell and cross-sell new software and products, right? Now, what he did was he came to his stakeholders and he presented this idea, and you know what happened? They never got it, right? And when he went ahead and presented this idea, called for a meeting, this is what he heard. Well, this is not going to work on it in my industry, in our industry, right? This will make our dealers and distributors very unhappy, and they might also leave and start selling competitive products. Oh, we are a hardware company, not a software company. I always hear this when I talk to a hardware company. I don't know why, but this is one of the things which I hear every time. This is too risky investment with lot of unknowns, right? Oh, this is just going to complicate things. Our sales process is already complex. So this is what he got out of the meeting. And after that, what happened? People stopped replying to his emails. Well, he was asked for so much of data and justification for this idea that for 8 months, he was just going in endless communication loops, reaching nowhere, right? Now, my question to you is, before I move ahead, do you see something similar happening in your company with your stakeholders as well? I would like if you put yes, if it's happening with you. Okay. Yes. Okay. It's no. Fine. Okay. Great. No worries. So the question is, what is the fastest route you can take to solve this problem if you're facing this problem? Well, the answer is you can't. So as I said in the beginning, I am not fond of giving you hacks, right? So there's no fastest way. Well, I'm sorry, you saw the slide already, so I'll come back to that. So what I want to say is that you need a special pill, a medicine through which you can solve this problem so that this problem dissolves forever and it never comes back to your life. And you know what? There is a secret, right? When you solve this problem, right, from the root forever, there's a magical thing that's going to happen in your life and you will see a huge jump in your career, right? Let's move ahead. But if you keep solving the wrong problems, you keep working on the symptoms, there's a huge cost you're paying. There's a huge cost not only for yourself, right, for your career, for your company, and for your growth and your future self. So let me show you the impact. Now, misalignment among stakeholders, I'm sure this happens a lot every time, can result in redeveloping and redesigning the product, right, you have not even thought of. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Like if you have to rework on the project because of more feature requests coming from the stakeholders. So imagine you are building a product worth 10 sprints, which with say a cost of 20,000 per sprint. So your budget is $200,000. And just because of adding extra 4 sprints, because of this misalignment, the cost of the product goes up by 40%. Let me show you some examples. Delay in launches, like one of the examples I'm going to show you, delay in launch of the product, 1 month delay was costing the company $500,000. Can you even imagine that, right? Now, if you're building a product for outside the market, increased, and the product is say not aligned with the market needs or desires, there's a number which says, this is not my number, I got it from some statistics, that it might increase your marketing budget by 25%. So imagine that you have a marketing budget of $400,000, right? The budget, because of a wrong product, might go up 100,000 euros more, or maybe more. So these are the challenges, that you can, and I can share a lot of more examples, but this is what resonated with me, and I thought of showing you. All right. So now, these are the challenges which could be more related to the money. But what is the personal impact on you, right? It's huge. What it leads to is frustrated and dissatisfied stakeholders, right? And it leads to what? Increased workload. Now, when you're pivoting in the product, when you're changing, your resources, move here from here and there. They don't have a clear direction. You keep doing different roadmaps, accommodating everybody's request from different stakeholders. And you don't even have a way to say no to them because you don't have a basis to say no. Simple, right? And what happens? Your team gets frustrated and you lose good people, A players in your team because of this, right? And on the stakeholder side, you're losing trust and your PM capabilities, and they start questioning everything, every decision of yours, and it becomes very, very frustrating for everyone. What you're doing is you're putting your professional reputation and career at risk. So there's no growth, there's no recognition, right? And you start self-doubting your own efforts. There's a high stress. You carry that stress back at your home, right? And you start feeling that, oh, my worth is very low. And then what you do? You leave the job, you go and take another job. You enjoy your life for a few days, but then what happens? The same cycle repeats. So my question to you is, what is the cost you're going to put for this? Well, I think you can't even put a number for this because this is something which is very, very impactful, and you have to find a way to solve these challenges. Cool. So let me give you another example of LX. So LX works for a top music publishing company, and what they do, they manage royalties for celebrities like Beyonce, AC/DC, Jennifer Lopez, or many such known singers and artists. So he works closely with the IT leader and the business leader in his company. Now, when he came to me, he had the similar problem that I just showed you. You know what, Gaurav, I'm making good money. Life is set. Everything is good. But I'm still not happy with what I'm doing. Now, every year, my projects gets the lowest priority. I don't know why it is so, but this is what it is. I have to go and beg for every penny in front of the IT leader, right? And I'm forced to work with IT vendors. Now, I'm not going to take names here, but what he was saying is all these suppliers, IT vendors are only taking their interest is to do hourly billing. Now they don't really, their skin in the game is not aligned to my success. I have so many ideas I want to implement, but I'm not able to because my hands are tied. I can't even decide who I want to work with. And then he was stuck in this endless loop again and again and not going anywhere. So what I did was I sat with him and did one-to-one diagnostics, which I'll explain you later. And I think in 4 to 6 weeks, I remember, I was able to understand what his vision is, what his product vision is. And we created a blueprint for a product which could potentially save the company 10 million euros a year, which is huge. And we created an investment deck aligned to this vision and the blueprint that we created. And finally, when we presented to the stakeholders, he got the funding for his idea. And now he's working on building the most disruptive product for the music industry, right? So what did Alex really did? Well, he just took the 7 strategies and what I promised you, implemented strategies, and he got magical outcomes in his life, right? So it's simple that if you follow these 7 strategies and tools, you can also create similar magical outcomes in your career. Amazing. So let me just present you the PDOS framework that I was talking about. Now, this framework that you see has 7 steps. We have been working on this framework for 3 years. I've been using it to create multiple products for different industries, different product leaders. and they got amazing results in their career and in their business. Now it's very simple for me, right? I'm sure you're seeing it. You would have already got the answer that it's easy for me, but not easy for you or for any product leader that I've worked with. So I had to make it simple, easy, so that it communicates and lands with people and they can use it without me. So I discarded this and I came with a very simple 4-step framework called PDOS 2.0. Now, what I've done is I had a big challenge that I had to condense all the 7 steps, 7 strategies into this 4-box framework, which I finally did, which I'll share with you. Now, how I see and my customers see, rather, it's not about me seeing it, but the customers that use this, they see it as a revolutionary framework. Now, why they say revolutionary? Because they have saved millions of dollars who have used this platform, right? Now, I won't say billions today. I just want to play safe, right? So it's a simple 4-box framework. And here is the treasure inside this. So each box that you see is how I see is as a planet in itself. Now, you cannot move from one box to the other box. You have to start from 0, 1 and then go to 0, 4. So let me unpack this box for you. Okay. Now, before I move ahead, I also want to share that I'm writing a book on this whole model. Plus, there will be more strategies that I'm going to add in this book. This book will be on Amazon very, very soon. Me and Ajit both are working on this book. So it's not out, but I would love that when this book is out, you buy a copy for yourself, you give it to people and your colleagues in your community. I think that will be of great help to everyone. Thank you. So let's come back to the framework, right? So let me unfold this model for you. So let's start with box number 01. What is it called? Well, it's called outcome. Simple. So if you're a product leader, you need to be super clear about the outcome that your product will achieve, right? Now, if you're not clear about it, that's a big challenge. I also like what Amazon says, working backwards. And you'll be surprised that in my interviews with product leaders that I work with, right, they say that they're not clear about the outcomes. And what I tell them is that you should not move a single inch if the outcomes are not clear. Well, I also hear they're saying that, oh, my stakeholders don't understand the outcomes clearly, and I'm stuck. Well, I tell them that the first thing is, are you clear about the outcomes? Because if you're not clear about the outcomes, how will you communicate the outcomes to your stakeholders for whom we were delivering the outcomes, right? I know it's hard, but that's the real truth. And what happens? You end up building a product which nobody wants, right? So what is outcome? Well, the outcome is the positive and the desirable result or impact that users or customer experience. Now, users could be your internal users, customers, I'm talking about the external customers, right? While they're engaging with your product or service, right? So this is how you define the outcome. Now, let me give you some example, right? So imagine there's a chat platform which has features like channels, direct messaging, file sharing. Now, you might think that the outcome is about features, functionalities, but does this feature functionality that we're talking about here talks about the impact or the result that the user will experience while using the product? Well, no, it doesn't, right? So I'm talking about Slack. Now, if you look at this definition, let's rebuild it. So let's look at this as outcome definition. So foster efficient and effective team communication, enhance productivity, and enable seamless collaboration across organization. Now, if you look at this outcome, it is simple yet very powerful, and it also talks about the benefits or the desired state of the users while they will use the product. So is it making sense, guys? Right? Cool. So let's move ahead. Now, imagine you are a chef, and you have a restaurant, and as a chef, you have some signature dish that you offer to your customers, and they say, wow, this is amazing, right? So as a chef, if you have to prepare that dish and serve it to your customers and deliver that experience, you need to know the exact recipe or the ingredients to deliver that experience. So now imagine you're a product chef. For you to deliver that product which is outcome driven product, you need to have 5 things. So what are these 5 things, or your recipe or ingredient to deliver that outcome? So you need to have the clear definition of the problem you're solving, the business problem you're solving. Is it for it's for internal customer or is it for external customer? But we should be very, very clear about the business challenge of the problem you're solving. And once you define the problem, you need to define who are you solving it for? Who are the key stakeholders who are going to use your product through different points? What is the purpose behind the product? Why are you building what you're building? What is the vision? How will you imagine your product success will look like? And then the North Star matrix. What is that one matrix that will help you measure the success? Are you on the right track or you're not on the right track? Now, all these 5 things, imagine this is your recipe ingredient. This combines together to deliver what? To deliver the outcome that you are promising to your customers or to your stakeholders. Great. So let me show you an example of Slack. So let's look at what problems Slack is solving. So addressing communication inefficiencies and scattered emails in teams. I think after we implementing Slack in the organization, honestly, I don't write emails now. I write emails only to my customers because I cannot bring them on the Slack, right? Who are the key stakeholders? Now I'm talking about external stakeholders here. So Slack kind of a tool is used by product managers, product owners, designers, facilitators, developers, marketers, remote teams, right? Now, what is the purpose? Why is Slack building what they're building? So they want to revolutionize communication by offering a seamless and centralized digital workspace for real interaction and information sharing. What is the vision? To become the ultimate hub for the team collaboration, connecting individuals across distances and transforming the way teams communicate and work together, right? So who are the key what's the North Star matrix? Now, this is a very good number because if you look at the North Star matrix of Slack, they say if a company is exchanging 2,000 messages, that means they're already retained, on Slack, and now we can convert them to a paid customer. This is amazing. And this one matrix actually made billions for them, right? And what is the outcome? We have already seen that. Great. So what is important now is that outcome could be different for different people. So when I say outcome, you should be very clear. What is the outcome that your business wants? What is the outcome that your customer wants? What is the outcome that your team wants? And what is the outcome that you want? So when everything is clear to you, you should be able to explain the outcome to anyone in your organization or outside the company in 2 lines. Great. So the question to you is, to look back, go today and check with yourself about your product, that are you clear about the outcome on the product that you're working on. And I must say this, which is the reality, that if you're not clear about the outcome, it means it's gray for you, you're not able to explain this in 2 lines, then please don't move ahead. The first step is go and create it, because this is the first step for any product failure, right? So you should be very, very clear about the outcome as a product leader. Amazing. So now when you're done with the outcomes, you've defined it. The second step is a very boring task. I call it essay. Like in any language, whether it's English or German or Hindi or Spanish, there's something called grammar. Now you won't believe people don't love grammar, they love language, right? So without grammar, but there's no language, there's no expression. So people don't love grammar. So likewise, essay is similar to grammar, which is very boring, but very important. So what does it really mean? Well, it means stakeholder alignment, right? So while I work with different companies, different sizes, mid-size to large companies, because this is what we work with. So we found that there are 11 stakeholders in any organization. While you're building the product, you walk from one to the other. However, I'm not going to cover all the 11 today, but I picked up the 5 most important stakeholders that you interact with every time when you're building a product. So who are these 5 stakeholders? It's your customer, the end customer I'm talking about, who is responsible for the company existence or your product existence if you're building external product, right? Your business team. Now you might be building a product for, say, marketing team, for sales team, for IT, or for legal. So you have to be very clear about who are the key people in your business team, right? Then is your tech team, who's going to deliver the outcome that you're promising. Now, a lot of times when I hear people have an aha moment, oh, I never thought that tech team is also a stakeholder. Yes, they are, because they are the ones who are going to deliver the promise that you're making to your stakeholders. And then is your IT and business leader. Why? Because they are the ones who are going to put the money on the table for you to build your vision. And then it's you yourself, because if you are not aligned to yourself, how will you align other people that you're seeing? Correct? So these are the 5 important stakeholders that you have to make sure that you map clearly. And now once you've mapped these stakeholders, what is the next thing that you need to do? Well, what do you need to know about them? You need to know about their desires. So for 2 minutes, forget about your stakeholders title and just think about them as human beings like you and me. Now, every human being on this earth, whether it's you or me or your stakeholder, what drives them is their desires. Now, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever you say, we are all stuck with the desires, no matter what we have, what we possess. We always need more than what we have today. And this is how we are. So let me give you some examples, which I've worked out while I was working with different product owners and product leaders, right? And maybe it relates with you, but this is what my learning has been when I spoke to them heart to heart, right? So what do you as a product owner or a product manager desire? Well, you desire freedom and independence, empowerment to take your own decisions. You need recognition for your good work. Now, whether it's monetary recognition or it's promotion in the company, but you desire to have recognition, right? You need acceptance from your stakeholders. You want to be heard from your stakeholders. You want that they should listen to you. They should validate your idea. Of course, you are curious. You have the desire and curiosity to learn things. And probably that's the reason you are here in this workshop, to understand what this guy is saying, that how can I become top 3% product leader, right? And of course, you want alignment with stakeholders to move in one direction. And of course, nobody would say that I'm going to build a product which will be unsuccessful. So you crave for success, whatever you invest, whatever time you invest, whatever product you build. So this is what I learned when I work with different product leaders. Now, like you have desires, your stakeholders also have desires. So your head of business or IT sponsor will have desires. Your business users have their own desires. Your customers have the desires. Your tech team has the desires, right? Now, my question to you is, do you know their desires? Well, you may think that you know their desires, but the fact is you don't know it, right? And I'm not saying just by saying it, because I have lived it, I've understood it, I have done this, I've asked this question 100 times to different product leaders, and I always get the answer, yeah, I may know it, but actually I don't know it, right? So, and then the product leaders come and tell me, oh, I have alignment issues. Well, I must say this, you will always have alignment issues if you don't understand the desires of your stakeholders, right? And in fact, this also applies in your life. If you're not clear about the desires about your wife, about your girlfriend, you will still have alignment issues there. Now, this is a separate topic that I'm going to cover later. But what I'm trying to say is, to solve your alignment issues, if you have to do just one thing, just implement one strategy that I want to give it to you. Just get the desires of your stakeholders, and 90% of your problems will be solved. Let me give you an example. Nike, I think everybody knows it. So Nike was facing a lot of challenges at one time when they were, struggling to cope up with Reebok. And just by understanding the desires of their customer, like their customer desire is to be healthy, right? Just by running this Just Do It campaign, they surpassed, and now the reality, what the company is. Apple was struggling at one time when they were competing with IBM. Now, just by understanding their customer desires, that the customer desire to be innovative, to be out of the league, with this campaign of Think Different, they were able to change their game, and now you know what it is, right? So I might be giving you examples of B2C, but point is, it doesn't matter. End of the day, what matters is, if you are selling a product or you're building a product for a human being, you have to understand their desires if you want to win your game and change your path and change your career. Awesome. So now the question is, people ask me, okay, you've told me you map the desire, you understand the desires. How will I know their desires, right? It's very simple. Just go and talk to them, interview them, right? And that's it. Now, you might have the best script. You might hire, people are, oh, I'm going to hire a design facilitator or design thinker. Oh, he will go and interview my stakeholders. I'll get all the information. Well, I'm sorry to say, whatever you bring in, who is the captain of the product? It's you, it's not them, right? So if you're not interviewing your stakeholders, you're not going to get the desired results. So the only option that you have is, you go and talk to your stakeholders. And when you go and talk to your stakeholders, please ensure that you empty your mind. What it means is, you should not be judging them, right? So behave like a kid. And when I see kids now, they go anywhere, they go everywhere, they're full of curiosity, right? And they're able to they never stop asking questions. Their whys are, remember my nephew, she keeps asking me why. So it keeps me thinking that how do I give the answer that she's looking for? So just crave for those answers. And I can guarantee you, just by doing this, you can win the heart of your stakeholders and get whatever you want from them. So now I wanted to also show you some mistakes people do when they do interviews. So first thing is, they don't prepare thoroughly. They just go for the interview without having clarity what preparation they need to do for the interview. There are no clear set goals set for the interview. They don't ask open-ended questions. They are so lame questions that I hear, oh, they are just like just yes and no. It's a multiple choice question being put on the stakeholder, and they're frustrated. Well, they're physically there in the room doing the interviews, but they're somewhere else. Now they're listening, as I said in the beginning, if you remember, they're listening from their perspective, not from the stakeholder perspective. And they're not taking notes. Now, if you're not taking notes, how will you refer back of what your stakeholder said, right? There's no call to action. The interview happened. You don't know what to do next. So there's no clarity on what are the next steps. And then there's no acknowledgement. Why? So you do the interview, you go back, there's no acknowledgement. You don't send any communication back to the stakeholder. Maybe you want to talk to the stakeholder again, but there's no acknowledgement. He doesn't listen to you. And what happens? People come and say, hey, stakeholder is rude. He's arrogant. He's fighting with me. He's not, he's not listening to me. He's demanding things which we never agreed to. Come on, I think you need to focus on getting interviews right and get your results and get them in your life. Simple. So what I did is I created an interview process, which is based on outcomes, because as I said, I'm a fan of outcomes. So these are the steps that you should do for the interview. Now, the first step is have a very clear script. What it means is that your script should have an opening, a closing, very clear questions defined together, very well planned. And you also align with the stakeholders that I'm going to do this interview with you, and this is the purpose of the interview. Of course, you don't send questions on the email because you will get lame answers, I can tell you. Once you have the script, go out with empty mind, listen to the stakeholders with full curiosity, sit like a kid, keep asking questions till you're satisfied with the answers, right? Take notes, very, very important, because you can go back and refer to them. And if possible, if you're doing it alone, I highly recommend record the call. Ask the stakeholder, take the approval that can I record the call, do that. And this helps you also better yourself. Maybe you fail in the first interview, but you have to ensure when you listen back to the recording, I always record my sessions. Because I go back, listen to them and improve and change my game. And then a very clear call to action. What do you want to do after the interview? You should be very, very clear with that. And then, of course, acknowledging with the key actions, notes, whatever you guys agreed. So send this email so that people respect you for this, right? Great. Now, I don't have time today. I'm sorry. Otherwise, I would have loved to share the script. Actually, I'm already running, ahead. I think, yeah, I have less time and my team will kill me. I was supposed to finish the presentation. I'm not even conveyed how, but let's see, we'll continue with this. Perfect. So, but next time when we meet, I will definitely share the script with you. Now, what I've done is I've created script for different stakeholders. This is another mistake I think I didn't mention, that you can't have one script for one for all the stakeholders. So if you're talking to a business sponsor, you have a different script. If you're talking to business user, you have a different script. The format remains the same, it's just the questions change. So it's very important to have these things together before you start talking to people. Great. So once you have mapped your stakeholders, now the next step is to align them on the outcome, the first box that you remember, because after the interviews, you have understood their desires, but if they're not aligned to the outcomes, how will you move ahead? How will you change your game? So it is very important that you align with them on the outcomes. And if they're not aligned, you go back, recalibrate the outcomes, come back, and then align them. And only then you can go and move to the next step, which is called REVAL. So I'll quickly skip this. Now, this is very, very important. And I want that the product leaders should start thinking, this is my fourth strategy, where they should start thinking how to become a scientist. So start thinking like a scientist. Now, why a scientist? Because what do the scientists do? That they first define the hypothesis, assumptions, they research, right? And then they go and experiment. And when they experiment, all their assumptions are whether validated or invalidated. And this is exactly how a product leader should also think and work, right? So this box is divided into two parts, research and validation. Now, there are 7 types of research and 11 types of validation. Now, why I say 7 types of research and validation and 11 types of validation? Because you cannot have the same type of research and validation for every idea, every product. Because if you're building a product for B2B, if you're building a product for B2C, some research might work for you, might not work for you. Some validation might work for you, might not work for you. So it depends on your customer segment, your product, your target audience. So everything comes together to decide what is the right research and validation method for you. Now, I'm going to talk about this in more details when we meet, if this is a problem for you. But for now, I'll just quickly show you some examples. Like this is a Best Buy example. So before they invested, it's a very old example, but you can relate to what I'm saying. Now, before investing in building a vending machine like this, which would have cost millions to install in different hospitals, what they did is they put an iPad in the hospital, and they created a small facade exactly similar to how a machine will look like. So a person will come, they will order for the product on an iPad, and then there is a person sitting behind the facade who will bring the product that the customer is ordering on the iPad and deliver to the customer. I know it's a bit creepy, but think about it. If this idea worked and it gave their validation, then they went and invested in this whole product. Similarly, this example of Transferly, a web and mobile app to transfer money. Now, they are competitors of Wise, TransferWise, but before building the product, even launching the app, what they did is they created a landing page. The desire was to check whether people are willing to download the app. And they gave different call to actions, asked the user to sign up. And the goal for this validation was how many signups are they getting? And they said that, okay, if I get X number of signups, I'm going to go and invest in building the product. This is the third example of Loom, where they were testing different pricing methodologies to test the viability of the business model. So they gave different pricing and different call to actions. They checked which pricing got the maximum clicks, and basis that they could decide what could be the sweet spot for them when it comes to working on the pricing for the product. This is an example of a pre-order. Mainly this is used for hardware products. So what the goal is that you don't go and manufacture the products, but you say, if I get X number of orders, then I'll go and build the product, manufacture it, and give it to the customer. You can also test how much time does it take for you to achieve this goal. This is another example of Miro. This is amazing. I just love it. So what Miro does, and of course, a couple of other companies also, that before building a feature, they put a dummy screen on the landing page and see whether this is giving enough traction, whether people need this feature. They sign up for this, and then they decide whether this feature makes sense. Now, you can use it in your existing product. You can use it in as a landing page and show it to the customer, the different experiences. Well, you can use this feature, test or validation to acquire customers, to retain customers, because you might be building different features at different funnels, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. So before you invest in building features, spend millions of dollars, just put it in front of people and see whether they really need it or not, right? So now once you're done with the RE and val, and you've got all the yes, it's the time for you're still not ready to build the product because you're not got the money, you're not got the funding for your product. So the next step for you now is, before you go to this, what you keep doing is that you keep dancing between these two boxes. So it's not that you will move from OutC, come to SA, do the RE val, but you might come back again and again. As I said, you keep dancing between these two boxes before you get the yes from all the stakeholders, and then you can move to the next one, which I said is, getting the budget, right? Now, I wanted to also make it simple that without the budget, without the funding, you cannot move ahead. You cannot build the product. So you just got all the people aligned. But if your business sponsor is not aligned, who's going to put the money on the table, how will you move ahead? So now I want to introduce you to the 4S framework. So what is this framework? Well, it's a 4-step process. And this is, I think, the most amazing way to deliver your investment proposal or presentation to your stakeholders so that they get ready to invest in you. So let me quickly unlock. So 4S framework is, I say, a brand new way of selling your idea to your stakeholder. Now, when I say selling, I'm not saying you become a salesman. What I'm saying is it's a way to present your idea to the stakeholders, right? And why it is important, because the stakeholders, right, you create an environment. So you don't go and shout on them and say, okay, this is my idea, these are the features, this is my roadmap. You just give something what they need and prepare the environment for them so that they can buy on your idea. So let me quickly tell you the different options that you have, for creating your presentations in 4S framework. So you can use it for, say, doing your business plan. You can do it for your investment proposal. You can do it for your product presentation. You can do a product demo with it, a keynote presentation, an email, and your LinkedIn profile also, right? So there are a lot of options, but we're going to talk about this in details when we meet next. Now, stage 1 for this is opening. So the purpose of opening, there are 4 stages, as I said. So the first stage is opening, which means how do you present yourself as an expert, as an authority in front of your stakeholder. Now, typically in our communication or presentations, what we talk about is features, modules, solutions, etc., etc., etc. But honestly, if I tell you, your stakeholders are not interested in that. Now, imagine that if you have to buy from someone, you care about this feature. I'm not saying you don't, but you want to buy from an expert, right? So the one reason why such kind of presentations get rejected, which I was telling you, is because how your stakeholders perceive you. Now, if they're not perceiving you as an expert, they will not buy from you. So you need to position yourself in such a way that they perceive you as an expert. Let me prove you this. So imagine you have to buy a car. Say you want to buy a BMW car. So my question to you is, who will you buy the car from? Right. Why do you want to buy from the right guy? Why not from the left guy? So if you see the guy on the right side, correct? Yeah, you can buy from different person, but I'm trying to say is that out of these two people, who would you select? Exactly, right? So the reason you're buying from the right, because he looks like an expert to you. Now he may or may not be, we don't know, but it's a perception that comes, on the table, right? So that's the reason I'm saying it's very, very important that you are perceived as an expert, as an authority in your company when you go and position your idea. The second stage is giving them the content, the transformative content. Now, what does transformative content means? It's simple that uh, when you buy, say, for example, you're buying a car, as I said, an example, right? Now, you just don't go and buy a car. You do so much of research first. So what you do is you go on YouTube, look at the comments, talk to different people who own the car, and then understand, because the reason you're doing the research is you don't want to make a mistake. Similarly, your stakeholders will not invest in your idea unless they do the research. And your job through this stage 2 is to make their life easy, to do the research for them so that they can invest in your idea. So what should the stage number 2 have in the investment proposals? Well, it should have the business problem and the impact, the purpose and vision, the North Star and the outcome for the product, what are the initiative and OKRs, what are the key features you want to build, the launch strategy, how will you launch the product, the ROI that you promise this product will help you deliver, and then what is the competitive advantage that you're getting from the product, right? So these are the things which will help you build your expertise. So in the first stage, you showed your expertise, you're perceived as an expert. Now with this content, they will believe that yes, this guy is credible, he's bringing a lot of data, and that helps you build your credibility in the organization. And then the third stage is to reinforce or recap what you said, because it's like imagine like it's a 1 or 2 minute recap, and you put it together, and then you go to stage 4. Stage 4 is where you ask for your investment, what you really seek for, what are the next steps, how will it. So the next step could be set on by doing a product discovery, hiring the tech team, and start building your product. And then you can have a Q&A where you want to do objective stripping, objection stripping in the conversation. And then finally you have call to action, where you will ask the user to take the action. Now the action could be, say, investing in your idea, or it could be, say, asking for the second meeting or the third meeting or the fourth meeting. So this, you keep doing it till you get your success, and then finally you move on, right? So once you have got the budget, now 99% of the time when people present the idea in the format that I showed you, they get the budgets, and they move to the next step, where they now prepare themselves to turn their vision, whatever they have created, into a tangible product. Now this step is a product discovery step. Now in this, what happens is it takes 6 to 12 weeks, depending on the size of the product that you're building. And what are the steps involved in the product discovery? Well, you create user personas, user journey, user flows, wireframe, designs, prototype, roadmap, release plan, tech stack, architecture documents, and you put it together, which are very, very critical for your tech team to deliver the promise that you're committing, right? And now I don't have time to cover all these components, but what I picked up is the roadmap, because a lot of stakeholders keep telling me that, oh, these roadmaps, I don't understand these roadmaps, right? So a traditional roadmap looks like this. Now, if you're presenting your roadmaps like this, I must say this, that you are losing your credibility in front of your stakeholders. So you have to rework and create a plan which aligns with your stakeholder mindset. And how it looks like, it should be like this, simple. We have these 4 things that we talked about. I'm giving the example of Slack: the purpose, vision, North Star, metrics, and outcome. Basis this, you decide your initiative OKRs. And then basis of the initiative and OKRs, you go and create your release plan, which has sprint dates, your epics, your features, and user stories, which very easily relate to the stakeholders that you're working with. Right. So now once you have done with your release plan and you have the product discovery done, you can go to the last step, where you build the product. Now, the first thing you do is you do an MVP launch. And then based on the MVP launch, you take less number of users, less number of people, test your idea, see whether they're getting the desired outcome or the promise you have made to them. And then you make tweaks in the product. You make the changes, go back and keep dancing between L1 and TW before you have delivered the promised outcome. And then you can launch the product for the bigger audience or the bigger market or say, more geographies if you're building an internal product. So that's how the L1 TW L2 works. Now, people ask me, okay, what MVP is? So for me, MVP is not minimum viable product. For me, how I see MVP is minimum valuable product. Now, I tell you why I call it minimum valuable product, because it means that it should be valuable for the user who is using the product. It should be valuable for the business. That means it should be viable for the business. And then it should be feasible for the product team to build the product. So it becomes valuable if it resonates with every stakeholder who is involved in building the product. That's why I call it minimum valuable rather than minimum viable. Right. So now we have done so much of hard work, right? So what do we need? What is our desire? We need recognition, right? And why do we need that? Well, because it builds our self-confidence, it builds our self-worth, and also builds our image in the company as an expert who can be relied on and expert that people can reach out and trust, right? So the last step, what is important is to build your image and become a celebrity PO in the organization. So what I've done is I've created a simple communication strategies. What I see is a lot of product leaders miss this piece. So when they start executing and building the product, right, they stop communicating with the stakeholders. So what is important is you have done so much of hard work, you have reached here, you have to make sure that you continue your conversation and keep building your trust, because now is the time when you're going to deliver the promised outcome in form of the product. So what I did is I made a very simple communication strategy, yet very powerful. So how does it work? Well, it's 4 levels of communication. You do a bi-weekly sprint newsletter. You talk to them on a quarterly, monthly basis. You talk to different stakeholders on a quarterly basis. And then you do a company blog where the company can know what you're really doing as a product leader, right? And here's the example from one of the product leaders. I helped creating the strategy. So it starts with the product status, executive summary, what are the achievements they have done in the sprint, what made progress, and what are the things which are non-achieved. Now, if you see, it's very simple. It talks about numbers. There's no bullshit in this, right? And it resonates with all the stakeholders that she interacts with. Now, I will show you all the strategies when I meet next time. But for now, as I said, I'm already running ahead of time. So I have to just, move in and make sure that you get, what I promised. So once we launch the product, now the product managers that I work with, what I do is I create a success story for them. It's like a Forbes type article. And I was blown away when this got published in the first company, and it made so much of noise. And actually every product leader now said, okay, I want a similar success story for myself. So this is how it looks like. I'll not go into the details of it. So we created for Alex. And this is the example when it got published in this company. And he really became a celebrity, right? And now it's not about just him. I think he got very happy. He got very confident. But the inspiration that other product leaders got in the company because of this, I think that made a huge difference in the company culture, right? And in fact, this has also helped them in their retention. This is a very good strategy of the product leader where they are able to retain people in the organization. So let's see what Alex has to say about me. I wish Alex was here. Unfortunately, he could not make it. So after meeting with Gaurav and his team for the first time, I am really happy in my professional career. I was stuck with old IT partner and their old ways of working. But this was very, very frustrating for me. Gaurav helped me implement PDOS 2.0. I implemented OutC and SA, and I'm fully aligned with my stakeholders and tech team. This unlocked 3-year budget for my product and the tech team, and now we are rolling out new features every 2 weeks instead of 3 months. I am following my dream to solve a big problem for the industry and create a futuristic product using AI/ML. Our music delivery is automated, plus our global releases, music releases are a click away. I'm enjoying my life full of joy and happiness. Thank you, Alex. And I also wanted to present to you that with this product that is recently launched, we launched Kylie Monique album in September, which was launched on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. And this is the blog which the CEO of the company put it online, and he was recognized as one of the top product leaders. It was amazing. Thank you, Alex. This is Mike. So what does Mike say? He says, thank you, Gaurav. My product is now rolled out in 20 countries. He helped me to keep an eye on the market. And in 2022, we logged 30% increase in our e-commerce revenue. Now we have also added 5% ARR of the overall sales from the SaaS model. Well, the results helped me unlock a huge budget for DT teams for next 5 years. And thanks to SA, I'm the only product leader, or this gives me really, I'm telling you, this gives me goosebumps, right? He's the only product leader who is, paid sales commission for every quarter. Amazing. Right now, we are doing REVAL with this team to take this product on Salesforce app. We are in fact validating this with them and sell it as a SaaS product to the competition of Zayas. Can you really imagine this? Awesome. I really like talking to Mike when he always talk to me about all these things. So great. I'll quickly do a recap now. I think we are almost there, but yeah, we extended the time. So let me quickly repeat. So we saw that the problems that I showed you, these are not the real problems, the real enemy. So the real problem is communication mismatch, right? And if you keep solving the wrong problems, work on symptoms rather than the real problem, there's a huge cost you pay for yourself, for your career, and for your future self. And what it does, it stalls your progress and growth. Now, I told you about these challenges, right? And I cannot even put a price to these challenges. So you have to see and go back and see if you're struggling with this problem, it's time for you to move on, right? Now, what is the permanent solution to the real problem? Very simple. Go and use PDOS 2.0 framework that I've given you and the set of strategies that I've given to you, right? Now, it's a simple 4-step framework that I told you. Start with outcome, do the stakeholder alignment, do the research and validation, and do your product launch and be successful, right? And I also covered the 7 tools and strategies, how to build product on steroids, right? Now, PDOS, I think, not actually, I should not say I think, but people that I've worked with, they keep telling me that Gaurav is the fastest way. I don't have any other way to influence my stakeholders. It's the fastest way. Now, whether you're working with IT stakeholder, whether you're working with marketing, finance, legal, doesn't matter. It works with everyone because you're actually building product for humans and you're aligned to their desires. You fulfill their desires and they're happy. That's it, right? Now, what is also important is that you might have multiple goals in your mind, right? And if you're working in limitations, you're working in in an environment which is a lot of micromanagement. Now, you cannot play your game full on, right? So what I'm trying to say is you need full freedom and autonomy. And I promise you that if you use PDOS framework, you get full autonomy for your ideas, whatever you want to build. Getting promotion in the company, recognition in the company, I think by now you would have understood that even if you implement one strategy, don't go for all the ones, but even if you go for one, getting promotion will not be a challenge for you. And if you say, okay, I don't want promotion, I want to move out, so you don't need to really worry about chasing companies. I would say the top product companies in the world will come and chase you, and they would want you to be part of their company, right? Because everybody wants top 3% product leaders at their company because you're a great asset to the company, right? Awesome. So I have a question for you. Now, it's a very simple question. Will you apply what you learned today? Now, I'm not saying apply everything, but is there something that you took away today which you will apply in your company, in your product? Yeah, sure, Neha. What I'll do is after I've done the presentation, I'll see if I can rewind back and show you. But I know I have to work on my timing. I'm sorry about that. I have to move fast. So great. So, well, a quick reminder to you is I've given you the knowledge. I know I went fast. Don't worry, but I can come and repeat it again. But knowledge is there, great. But if you're not implementing this knowledge, it's not going to give you results. That's proven. That's clear. It worked with me. It worked with somebody else. But without implementation of knowledge, you can take knowledge from different books. You can take knowledge from different webinars. But if you're not implementing it, you're not going to get the results. That's very clear. It's very, very simple, right? So I wanted to remind you of this. Now, why did Mike and Alex got the results? They did not get the results because of the company environment they were working in or the budgets that they got or their background. The only reason they got is they were great implementers. They got the result because they went and implemented the strategies that I told them. Now, there's a possibility that this PDOS framework might look new to you, might be boring that what shit this guy is saying, but I can tell you in reality that this is the only way to crack the code and get to the top 3% for which you have come here. That's it. Now, what's the next step? What do you need to do? Well, you need to go and take action. That's it. Nothing else. Simple. Right? So I know everybody knows Usain Bolt. I love him. I do a lot of running. I do a lot of sprints. Of course, I'm not able to clock 9.58 seconds, If I would have done that, I would not be sitting here. But everybody knows him. Okay, he's the fastest runner on the earth. But how many people really know the hard work and the pain that he has taken for 4 years to achieve what he achieved, right? Nobody knows it. And it's important to know that you have to take action. Otherwise, you'll not get the desired results that you do. So if you have the desires that I showed you, the only way to achieve the desire is go and take action, right? Now, I want to give you simple two choices, right? And they're very, very simple. And I love simplicity, as you would have understood this, right? So one choice is you have learned everything. Great. You say, oh, this is amazing. But I go back and keep continuing doing my busy work, right? And keep struggling with the challenges that I say. And don't worry about the impact. Now, you might not see the impact, but in long term, you will see, because I've seen people struggling with these challenges when they go and struggle mid of the career, right? Or the other option is, oh, this is fucking amazing. I want to go and take action. Now, if you're ready to take action, I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to make sure that I help you achieve that, outcome that you're looking for. Now, I'm not asking you to give me 4 years. I'm just asking for you to give me 2 hours. That's it. I think that's not a big ask, right? Now, what will we do in 2 hours? Well, we'll sit together and accomplish your goals you're looking for. And that's the reason I'm offering you this one-to-one diagnostic call. What will we do in the diagnostic call? Now, you might be looking for promotion. You might be looking for stakeholder alignment. You might be looking for changing a job. You might be looking to build an amazing product roadmap or influence your stakeholders. Maybe you're stuck with your current product. So whatever your problem is, I'll make sure we discuss it one-to-one, and I'll ensure, guaranteed, that I'll solve you for it. That's my commitment to you. And your commitment to me is giving the 2 hours of your precious time to become the top 3% that you're looking for, right? Now, Jackie, I'm helping him to find his next career move. He's working with me very closely. When he came to one-to-one with me, he was amazed. He was blown with the strategies that I told him. And we went very detailed. So we talked about the 7 strategies, but his biggest challenge was, I want to change my job. And he was focused there. And he was so happy with this one-to-one conversation that he said, oh, I want to write a recommendation with you so that other people can sign up and get the same value that I got in the session. And here it is. So you can go on my LinkedIn profile and read this recommendation. Thank you. This is money. His problem is, I'm stuck in the mid management. I want to go to C-level. Now, I worked very clearly defining a couple of strategies for him. And again, he said, I'm blown away with with the results that I got just by 2 hours of session. I want to go and give the recommendations. Thank you, Mani. I wish he was here and he could share his experience in this call. Next time, we'll definitely bring him. Then it's Hussam. So his problem was, I'm not able to find my product market fit. And I always get, it's very difficult for me to go and present in front of the board or the investors. It's a small company, it's a startup, but they got the funding. Now, I helped him understand where he's struggling from in terms of market, audience, customer, how he should validate his product. And with those 2 to 3 sessions, in fact, with him, I didn't even know. We had 3-4 sessions, but this is how I am. I don't care, right? I want to make sure that the person gets the result and he gets what he's looking for. So thank you, Sam. We had a great time with you. So normally what I do is I sell this one-to-one for a price, but I don't want to do that. I want to offer this completely free to you. Now, why would I do that? Right? People ask this question. Well, it's simple. I want more case studies like this, what I showed you, who use PDOS framework. They report back to me, they work with me, and they say, oh, I've got the desired results, and I am growing, my company is growing, and we are making millions. Now, for me, the win is you are recognized in your company for your hard work and you become the top leader. That's it. I'm not looking for anything else. And that's the reason I'm offering you this free. Now, the action is on you. Whoever has made till here, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So here's the QR code, and my team is going to put the link in the chat. Simple. You have to take what? Action. What is the action? Go on the form. It will not take less than 30 seconds. It will just be 30 seconds to fill the form. So I am here. You fill the form. If you have a question, put it here. I'll answer it for you. You submit it, and then we'll go into details. And this one-to-one diagnostic for 2 hours, I guarantee you, it will change your trajectory about your career. And I guarantee you. And you will not go without giving me a recommendation. Great. So I'm done. I'm going to pick up some water for myself. And I know I've taken more time. I'm sorry, guys. The next time I will work on it. I'm really sorry that I had to go fast, but I'll ensure that the 2 hours that we spend together, I'll go into each and every strategy in more details. Thank you very much.
All right. So if you wait a minute, let me just switch it on. So if you still want to stay here, I mean, we are here for 10 more minutes. I think we can also answer some of the questions. And if you have time, you can stay. We are anyhow running out of time, but anyhow, we'll take another 10 minutes. And I would highly recommend go to this one-to-one. You've seen the testimonials. I think we did go really fast, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to show you today how things really connect. We don't usually have time to really go deeper into one of those topics. In one-to-one, exactly this is what happens. That actually most of the people who come, they probably need one strategy or the other. Not everybody is implementing 7 in one go. So what we try to do is we try to understand where are you right now at current moment in your company, with your product, with your stakeholders, team, and we try to pinpoint one of the biggest hurdles for the next step. And we just work on that 1 or 2 strategies which you need to really unblock yourself and get unstuck at this very moment. And then we'll go to the next strategy. Once you're unstuck with this, we'll go to the next strategy. It's a piece by piece information that gets shared. And then, so it'll be very, very customized to your situation, what you're going to get out of this. And people are getting good results out of this. And one of the key things which I would say is that I think we had to rush again on that piece was communication strategy. So a lot of them, it's a very, 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 very simple strategy to implement. Actually, next week you can do it. Today is Thursday. Whenever you are closing your sprint next time, your next sprint is getting closed. So after your sprint demo is over, you can implement that strategy, and you will see the results. Suddenly, I see love from stakeholders really blows up after that. That one communication hack which you implement within your this thing. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to keep this QR code for you. The link is in the chat, so you can go ahead and then book your sessions there. And we're going to take some questions as well. And what I'm also thinking is, Gaurav and the rest of the team, that we'll also take these questions and the answers we can send it also through emails, because I see that people have to leave right now, and then we'll be okay to send the answers on the email as well, so that everybody gets the answers for the questions they have. So Gaurav, are you ready? Should we go into the Q&A quickly?
Yeah, I'm all ready.
Awesome. So what I want to I think it's coming from Mike. I think he just dropped, I believe, but that's okay. He says, what do you do if the business is more bothered about what other companies have done instead of telling me or the product team what they actually want? So it's saying, I think the question is more towards if they want to copy a competition rather than actually understanding the market, or asking the product teams to really understand the market. What should you do? So it's like a push coming from stakeholders, I believe.
Right. Now, I think, if you see the push, what is it? It's a behavior, right? So there's something else behind this. How I see this push as a symptom, not as a real problem. So the first thing you need to do is identify the real problem, that why are they saying that we should, compete with someone. So for me, how I see is, I don't have a competition. I have my own value. I'm delivering it. I'm not worried about who is doing what. So what you need to do is make sure that first align with them, understand. Now, that's the only way to figure out why they are thinking what they're thinking. Now, you might get the answer, you might not get the answer, but if you see this is not a place for you where you can add value, you move on. You change your job and find a place where you can add real value. What I also see is when people go and change their jobs, they don't ask questions. What is important is to ask questions. Like, you are looking for a job, they are also looking for, if they're looking for a person, you are also looking for a culture where you can be yourself, right? That's a different conversation. I think the best way out is talk to them, understand their world, why they have the fear, because people generally operate from fear. So they might have a fear, oh, if the competition launches this feature, I have to also launch this feature. It's not required. You have a different value. Somebody has a different value. So you have to really understand the customer for whom you're building the product, what their desires are. And if your product or feature resonates with those desires, sure, go and launch it, build it. If competition is ahead of you, but it is matching to your desire profile of your customers, I'm sure you should go and pick it up. But if it's not, then what is the point of building something which your customers don't resonate with?
Yeah.
So it's
I think
about
this is
generating
something which I've
awareness.
also,
Yeah, understanding people's mindset, understanding the customer mindset, what they're looking for, not just copying the competition.
yeah. So I remember this also with my experience where all the decisions started to happen according to what the move from the competition is. So if they're launching X, they want to launch X. If they want to launch something, some new product, they want to launch some new product. So this way you will never be innovative as a company.
Exactly,
And
and
I
you're
think,
not
but
delivering value to anyone. You're just a commodity
yeah,
because you're saying, okay, I have the same product or feature cheaper than this. Simple,
right,
right?
right.
That's also a
Cool.
market. As I said, it depends on which market you are in. If you're operating in a commodity market, it's okay. But if you're not, if your aspiration is to go and be the Apple of the world, or say Nike of the world, or say Uber of the world, you have to think different.
Cool. Another question is right. That's just the word. So I believe that's just they're saying we are right. I'm great for that. Okay, we have answered that. Let's see. The other one is from Vivaksha, and she was saying that will we get the recording and presentation? It is some valuable insight. It was quite fast to note down everything. So yeah, I think we will send some of the summaries later on, and then I said will be some snippets we'll be sharing. But what I will highly recommend is to come to one-to-one. I think you'll get all the insights you need in a deep dive fashion. Whatever you want to go deep into, just come into the one-to-one, and I think that should be the solution for this mostly. All right, and I think Neha was saying we have gone super fast through this presentation. Can you recap the 7 strategies in one slide and send over, please? So yeah, this is something which I want to do. Actually, I was also looking for, if you can, I don't know if you still have it in your all in your head, how these 4 things connect on a very summarized fashion, like a very 30,000 feet view. If you can summarize that for everyone to just connect the dots, I would say. Yeah.
So every strategy is communication. Everything is linked to communication. This converges to communication. If you look at the first strategy, outcome, so basically what you're trying to do is, as a product leader, you are aligning first. You are clear in your mind what I'm building, why I'm building. So you're communicating with yourself. Now, once you've communicated with yourself, you're aligned with yourself. And that's also happens everything. If you are, say you want to be healthy, right? You just don't go and start doing weight training and physical exercise or change your diet. The first thing is you align with yourself. Oh, what will happen if I do this? What is the vision? Where do I want to go? I want to live more. I want to be healthy. I should be looking good. So that's the first piece of strategy. And now once you are fixed with it, you are aligned in your mind that yes, I want to do it. The second thing you do is aligning with the stakeholders. That okay, you are also involved in this process. This is what I want to achieve. Can you help me achieve this? Because I cannot do it alone, right? So that's where the alignment piece comes in. And alignment, I told about different things, right? Who are the people you need to align with? How do you align with them, right? And that's what I explained, that it should talk to the desires. Question is, how do I talk to the desire? Now, if you see, everything is what communication. You're understanding the desires, is communication. You are talking to them, doing the interview, it's communication. So you have understood the desires now, and you've aligned them to the common outcomes. So then both the things get converged. And then you go to the next box where you say, okay, now I'm going to do the research. Whatever they're saying, is it really resonating? Or they're just saying for sake of saying it? So where you go and validate your assumptions, right? And then you do, now your tech team also needs to be aligned. How will they get aligned? If you give them these 4 things and say, okay, build a product, will they build it? No, they will not. So they will need some components, like you play Lego, right? A kid has a Lego and that has a map. So this product discovery is like your Lego components, a map which you can put together to build the castle or the dream that you aspired for as form of the product, right? And then you go and launch it. So that's where you say, okay, I'm not going to do everything. I cannot keep everyone happy, right? I cannot become athlete in one day. Usain Bolt took 4 years. I might take 8 years. Maybe I'm physically not fit to do it, right? Maybe I'm not there, but I'm just giving you a relation that now you need to first do what can you do fast? What's your minimum valuable, product that you can deliver to your stakeholders and say, wow, this is amazing. And you keep them excited in the journey. So that's the piece which comes as your launch. Then you understand their world, communicate with them again, have they got the value or not? If you don't get the value, you go back and put it again. The point is your product has to resonate with the desires. If it's not resonating with the desires, you start blaming everyone. That's not the way to work. You need to understand, simple answer, oh, I built something, but doesn't resonate with the desire of the customer. I have to go back and understand the desires again. And you start the whole cycle, and eventually you will win. Right. And then, of course, the communication strategy again comes in, right? Now, when you're building the product, how do you maintain that trust? Presentation that I showed you, the 4S framework, it's a framework. It's actually like, it's nothing. If you see that framework, you've understood the framework, the basics, go and watch any Netflix series. It is exactly built on this framework. I'm not teaching you something new. I'm just making you awake to understand that you already know all this. It's just that you're not using in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah. That's a great one. I think I'm just trying to relate that when I started my own journey towards solving a problem for my back pain, I kind of aligned like what exactly I need to do. And I had to align my at home, this is what I'm going to eat. I need your help. This is how I'm going to wake up and then do my yoga. And all of these alignments happen. Then I'm just thinking then I went to the third box of doing some research and validation in a way. What are the exercises which will work for me? What are the ones I have to avoid? How I should be sitting, my desk. All of this was kind of research. And then it was put in like a discovery, what you mentioned. Like this is the desk I need to procure from Amazon. This is how I'm going to sit. This is how I'm going to, stand up every 30 minutes, sit down, walk, how much walking. So all of this was then planned and now then put into action. So this is how I see it as a framework from the real life. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So one more question I'm going to put forward is the communication, I think, which we were discussing. How does it help product managers? What are we really doing there? What are they doing today, which is not working for them? What do you think, if you want to kind of go into this communication framework a little bit deeper?
I think I always say first thing, which changed my life. Of course, I'm sure you can relate with it, that whenever I try to do something new and which is unknown to me, I operate with fear. I used to operate with fear, right? I don't operate anymore now. And I will just hide behind the fear and let the time pass. Okay, someday this fear will go, right? It doesn't go like this. So whenever there's a new thing being told or a new knowledge being taken, right? What is the intent is go and implement it, go and play with it. Don't expect that you're going to get the results immediately, right? So whatever strategies I've told you in terms of communication, it took me, I think if you remember, it took us 3 years to build this. It's not that we have built it, right? And even today, we are not saying that, okay, we are getting amazing results. People are coming, listening to us, and I'm sure we will just keep playing our game, right? And we will become Usain Bolt of product management soon. Correct? This is how I see it. So the goal is keep playing your game, confront your fear, talk to it, and just keep implementing it. Keep trying new things. Live your life like a kid. Imagine that you are the same kid. You're just grown, physically, but keep your mind, as I always say, stay hungry, stay foolish. That's what I'm trying to say and communicate here, that you got the learning today. Don't get confused that, okay, I'm going to implement everything today. It's not going to work like this. So you have to just pick up one of the nuggets from it, which we will find in the one-to-one conversation, and it'll be very focused on you, right? You implement that, get the results. You go and implement the second strategy, the third strategy, fourth strategy, and you will win your game. So it's not like a one night, stand. It has to be over a period of time if you want to be on this journey of, being top 3% leader.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. I think we are now at 3:30 in the afternoon here in Berlin, Prague, and I think it's late in India as well. So we'll close this now. Thanks a lot for joining in, everyone. And as I said, if you have any more questions, any more confusions, just click on those links of one-to-ones. We'll also send it through email and join us there, and we'll deep dive into your problem in that one-to-one diagnostic. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. Thank you, Gaurav.
Perfect, guys. Thank you. See you in one-to-one. Bye-bye.
Bye.